What is up, everybody? Sean the D-Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great weekend. I wanted to drop this quick little video primarily to talk about what happened this past weekend at TwitchCon. Now, I did not attend TwitchCon, like I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video did, but an incident did happen at TwitchCon that should be brought up, and people should be talking about it. People should be holding Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, accountable uh, and everything, because if you're not familiar with their very popular streamer Emiru, I'm not really familiar. I've seen some of her stuff, don't really follow her, but I know who she is. I've seen some of her stuff and things like that. But she is a content creator uh, on Twitch and everything. So she went to TwitchCon over the weekend, and an incident happened where I guess the best way to say it, a fan of hers, she was doing a meet and greet, and a fan of hers somehow was able to get through security and basically assault her. From looks of it, like he came up and tried to kiss her, at least from the video that's been out there. Um, One of her security guards that she had with her was able to come in, push him away, but the guy just walks away. She did later put out a tweet. She also put out a video on her YouTube page as well. I'll link that down in the description below if you have not already saw it. I watched it last night, so I'm not really going to go over that video again. But let me see. So this was her statement. Um, I believe this was Saturday night is when she made the statement, but she says, "Hello everyone, I'm okay. Thank you for all the kind words. Sorry I cannot respond to them all. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me in my face and tried to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out it could have been a lot worse." Now, yes, it definitely could have been a lot worse in this situation. We don't know who this I guess you could say weirdo. We don't know who he was. Obviously, he was a fan of hers and stuff like that. But the fact that this guy was able to just easily get access to her is very quite, like, the lack of security in that situation is just it's just crazy. For that to happen like that. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this. But to tell you honestly, I am a lot more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. Security in the clip who reacts is my own security. It's true, my favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to the police at a past TwitchCon. So this is something she also talked about as well. Maybe a couple of years ago at TwitchCon, she had a stalker, like she just mentioned, and her security guard at the time that she had with her detained him, and waited for the authorities to come and, hand him over to them and let them take it from there. Apparently, I guess Twitch didn't like that, and so they banned her from allowing him to go to really any TwitchCon wherever it's located. And so that's very questionable as well, because a lot of these, because the main thing about it was, like, you had some of these higher profile creators, like Valkyrie, I think Pokimane, Hassan. Even they said they're not gonna go. Even people like Asmongold and Tectone talked about how, especially if you were a female creator, don't go to TwitchCon. It's, you know, it, security is not going to be good and things like that. So it's best if you don't go. And then Twitch put out a statement, or Dan Clancy put out a statement talking about how, we take this serious. We're up in security. We're working with local so and so people. So, however, there were at least 3 or 4 TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since I didn't even appear in the frame, lol. The woman who was walking with me, or walking me away, is my own personal manager and behind the booth. only two people who were checking in on me and covering me were her and my friend. None of the TwitchCon staff came to see or came to ask what happened or if I was okay. My friend who was present told me Twitch security was also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened, and immediately laughing and moving on to talk about something else. So if no one was checking if I was okay or if I needed anything and they let the guy run away initially, I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the event safe was doing, LOL. In Twitch's statement, they said the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me. And it felt like the only reason, and it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it. Not because TwitchCon staff presence thought it was a big deal. I have a lot more I want to say, but I will say it on stream later today instead of writing a book on here. Thank you guys again. Sorry you all had to see that. This is definitely my last TwitchCon, and it saddens me to say, as a 10-year off and on attendee of TwitchCon, I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. Can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything is going to be okay. And she did make a video. It's about an hour longish video. So she did make a video talking about it. Like I said, I watched it. This past Sunday, or actually yesterday. And a lot of the stuff she reiterated. She was very upset. She was very angry. And let me see if I can find it. Meanwhile, let me see. Let me see if I can pull her up. I think Kirsha, who's a VTuber, also, there's a clip. Okay, so this was. I am not a trained professional. I'm gonna. Yeah, this is fine actually. So so I guess this is from I guess this Twitch CEO was too busy literally slamming female creators to care about what happened at TwitchCon. So this is Dan Clancy doing, I don't know what he was doing. All right, guys, I am not a trained professional. Don't try this at home. I think he drops it. He does. Dear God. So he's busy doing that. Didn't really seem to care that what happened. Like, apparently they did reach out later, but he did an interview. I think was it Taylor Wren? Taylor Wren's is the name. Let me see if I can find it. Where it basically sounds like he was like blaming Emiru for it. Let me see if I can try to find it. Oh, here, I think this is it.
It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society.
Actually, let me grab my headphones. Hold on one second. All right, let me see. Let's see here. I'll just make it. Okay, we'll do it like this.
Is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different. You know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me.
Later the same night, I'm not gonna drop names here because I wasn't there, so I didn't.
That's who they were.
But I had multiple people tell me that key Twitch representatives last night were out partying.
She's speaking about Dan Clancy himself, by the way. Was out partying at an influencer event while this was happening.
Sorry, got posted. Again, thank God someone was filming, because otherwise I don't think Twitch would have said anything. So after that, I started getting a lot of messages. I'm responding to people, and my manager comes back to me, and she's upset. She's like, okay, I've been talking to Twitch people, and I'm really upset because I noticed a lot of negligence around the event, and I'm not happy with the way that they're handling it now. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I asked them, you know, like, what are they gonna do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days.
So that is like another thing as well. Is initially she talked about it in her much longer video that she did for a stream, but she talked about how the guy was banned for 30 days on like Twitch and stuff like that. But then they changed it to he's indefinitely banned. So no Twitch, he can't go to any kind of Twitch based event. He can't be on Twitch. So that basically says they know who he is if they were able to ban him like with Twitch and stuff like that. So it's just utterly crazy. And then like the beginning of the clip, it basically sounds like he is victim blaming Emiru for what had happened. It's utterly like crazy for the CEO of Twitch to like to do that. You are in charge. Like, you are in charge of this event. It is your job to make sure that there is adequate security for every streamer, regardless if they're male or female, so they have a level of security. We don't know. You don't know some of these people, some of these weirdos online. They have this habit of, just because we've seen this. Like, there was like several stories of I believe maybe Japanese streamers. One was just recently, maybe not recently, I can't remember. It was this year, I believe. One was like recently was lost her life by one of her fans. And it's just like, this is stuff that should be taken serious. And Dan Clancy, Twitch, clearly showed that they did not take it serious one bit. And because they did not take it serious, because they did not have the adequate level of security for these streamers and content creators in place, what we saw was the result of Emiru getting assaulted by a weirdo. Okay, a guy who clearly is probably mentally not in the right space, and any kind of victim blaming on her is utterly ridiculous, and it should not be the case. So, like, I hate that. Like I said, I don't know her that well. I've just seen her a few times here and there. I've seen some of her clips and stuff like that. She seems like a very funny content creator. I'm glad that nothing more serious happened to her. I am very glad about that, and obviously she probably has learned a lesson from this. And like she mentioned, she's not going to any more TwitchCon's. If she does any meet and greets, you best believe they're going to have like 10 times level of security in place. So this kind of situation does not happen again. But because I don't remember her name, but there was that singer a couple of years ago, and I want to say Christine. Was it Christine Gimme? I forgot her name. I seen people. Let's see. Yeah, it was Christina Grimmie. Christina Grimmie, singer, who unfortunately lost her life due to a fan of her who looked like she was going to, like, hug, kind of like greet and stuff like that, and he ultimately took her life and then his own life afterwards. These are things that we should take serious in these type of events. You just don't know. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. It's better to have 20 extra security guards than to have none. I don't know if Dan Clancy and Twitch will learn from this. If more people stop going to TwitchCon, you're more than like, then that's going to be in. It's going to be in. They're already in hot water as is because of how Twitch operates when it becomes a terms of service, and how people like, for instance, Hassan Piker is basically allowed to get away with like almost a lot of the stuff he has. He has not been banned, or if he has been banned, he's been banned on the day that he's already going to be off. When you have guys like Tectone get banned for 2 weeks for calling Frogan fat, that is utterly ridiculous. And so Twitch is not a serious place, and if there is no accountability, something like this is going to happen again, and it could end far worse than what happened in this situation here. So I am glad that she is safe. I'm glad that she is okay, and that's all that matters, that she is okay and she is safe. But that is relatively it, guys. Just wanted to make a quick little video talking about this. It's very serious. But if you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. But I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good one.